Why are my parents so mad that I don't work? They probably worry that you're not doing anything productive. Could be they'd prefer to not have you at home. Could be they are worried that if it took so little time to give up on accounting after presumably several years of school that they aren't super optimistic you will stick with the next thing after paying for more school. Could be that they just feel work is important for growth. If there are college loans in the picture, then could be they are worried about you adding to those, given so many people communicate about the long-term burden of that. Could be their great-great-grandfathers were both accountants and they hoped you'd carry on the family lineage. You'd need to communicate with them to find out what their reasons are. I'm living at home currently 60% of the time. I spent 60% of time in England with my GF. The accounting ain't accountin'. Good parents worry about their kids. It's just what they do. Would you rather they not care what you do at all? Was the accounting job really high paying? Maybe they feel like you threw away a really good opportunity for something less certain. They were probably happy to get their home and freedom back. Maybe they want to walk around in their undies. Maybe they like to smoke pot at 12. I've legit heard this from empty nesters who had kids return. They're just from a different time when you went to work and then never stopped. Probably never had $30,000 in their savings account to live off of and enjoy life for a minute. I have a friend who worked for his father's company for 20 years. They just sold the company and my friend wanted to take a year or two off to raise his newborn son. But the dad wouldn't pay him his cut from the sale until he made sacrifices and found a career. That's just how older people think. If you're not working, you're a freeloader. Failure to launch is a big concern for parents. It doesn't seem like that much of concern here, but I can understand how your parents might be worried when you're taking 6 months off at the beginning of your career before changing fields. Reminding them that you are on track and have no plans to ask for their help financially might help. Reassure them. If you can move, why don't you? They're probably afraid you're becoming one of those people who are always in between jobs. Always quitting because it doesn't feel right, or having plans for something bigger without any commitment or concrete plans. Props to you for enrolling in a master's course. But you damn well better complete it and commit to a tech job as a career afterwards. And not realize, actually, it wasn't what I wanted to do after all. Seems like a reasonable combination. What with companies using computers for accounting these days? You weren't hoping to get into games, were you? Speaking as a parent of someone about your age, and is likely the same age as your parents, here's my 2 cents. First and foremost, I have never left a job because I couldn't see myself doing that sort of work for the next 50 years of my life. I have never left a job without another one waiting in the wings. Leaving a job without my next job lined up just doesn't make sense. Regardless of whether I see a future, I just continue working there until I have that prospective career opportunity lined up. Perhaps they see your approach as rather laissez-faire, devil may care, reckless. I'm not saying it is, but I know that's how I would see it if my 24-year-old did something like that. I've worked my fair share of jobs that didn't turn into careers. But I did so to have a job, to earn a living, to pay my bills, etc. It took me a while, but I've finally landed in the career I will retire in. And landing where I am at is by virtue of the experience I gained along this journey. I think their concern comes from a good place. A place of wanting nothing but the best for you. Not wanting to be under a constant state of worry about your well-being. And the way they likely see this being remedied is if you maintained a stable employment and didn't leave a job for what they likely see as a rather flighty reason. This is just my perspective based on the information you presented and how I would likely react if my oldest child did the same. This will sound crazy. Talk to them about it. How long were you at said Big Four? Being 22, I'm guessing it wasn't long, and they probably fear going back to school might not solve for the reason you left said job. Many people use school as a comfort space and pass-through spot when they can't figure out what they want to do in life, which I believe would be their underlying concern. They want to live their own life now, but you are still there. Maybe they want to sell and move away but can't. Gaps in resumes were huge red flags for your parents when they were coming through the workforce. Also, there's a lot of soft skills you pick up at work that you don't in a classroom. I learned way more about people working at Walmart for a year than I ever did in sociology class. But also maybe consider volunteering somewhere once a month. Not as demanding as a 9-to-5, but looks good on a resume. They're worried about you, buddy. A temporary slump can become a lifestyle before you realized you were slipping. I never had anything good happen for me by doing nothing but doing something. Even if it isn't the final plan, has always lead to new opportunities. Parents are just like regular people. Everyone has different emotions. Me and my wife aren't picky about our 18-year-old son. He likes games, and I told him fair and square that if he wants the extra money for those things, he needs a job. He will always have a roof over his head and food on table at our house. That's the responsibility as a parent, bringing a living being to the world. All the extras are up to him. Because they love you, you moron. You are wasting your life. Go level up. If only you could talk to them.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.